what one lad said on the paper. Like why one person get all the attention when he said he's only a person saying the whole lot of it. He is in a way he is, but who is that guy over there with the young girl there? Ha! See that lad coming over there with the young girl coming across the field there? He would a pen over his ear. Who is that? Huh? That lad there? Tom. Let's look. Phone ringing there. Your phone ringing.
They're probably looking for me.
Something ringing there. Maybe it's not.
Probably looking for me.
I thought there was someone's phone ringing there. I'm telling you're missing. Hey, telling you're missing. Missing in action. Hey, telling you're missing in action. Why did they not? Did they not have? Why is there not? Is there that man in it? Is there no one here? Is Buck still there? He is. Oh. John. Oh yeah, no. They're lovely outfit. It's very got a dog. Is that who that is? Married to the Italian. Lad. There's definitely a nice house. That doesn't say it. That doesn't ring out of the field, that. That doesn't ring out of the field. Why is he? How come he's counting it? He's from Kerry. No, he's not from Kerry. But then Kerry is like that, so it's over the way. Kirwan that has that. Good.
I think only a couple of pints.
Hey, pass. Hey, woo. Like for 1 year, you know what I mean? Especially when you're driving. Doesn't the giant. They're in this, I think their first year.
We know that both teams line out as selected on your official program. Castletown, John Lyons, the Cool, full back line number 2, Martin Phelan, number 3, John Cuddy, number 4, Thomas Phelan. Half back line number 5, Cyril Cuddy, number 6, Paul Cuddy, number 7, Robert Delaney. Centre field, David Cuddy and captain Eamon Kirwan. Half forward line number 10, Paul Cuddy, John O'Sullivan, number 11, and Finan O'Sullivan, number 12. Full forward line number 13, Matty Cuddy, number 14, Michael O'Sullivan, and number 15, Patrick Phelan. August Byrne, the Clorshik, the Cool, number 1, Kevin Galvin, number 2, Peter Phelan, number 3, Patrick Henderson, number 4, Michael Moran. Half back line number 5, John Shortall, number 6, Ray Fogarty, number 7, Billy White. Centre field, Tony Dunn and TJ Quinn. Half forward line number 10, Albert Townsend, number 11, Conor Murphy, and number 12, Noel Delaney. Full forward line number 13, Tommy Cannan, number 14, Noel Kirby, and number 15, Mark Donohoe.
The three forward, inside forward, counting it to the half. Three counting it, and they're back in the middle. And 10 for the half.
We know that Shasaki are around Nabeen.
Up that way. Up there. Carry this up.
Everybody, and welcome to O'Moore Park, Portlaoise, for the playing of the 1997 Laois Senior Hurling Championship Final between Castletown and the Harps. Castletown seeking their second title, the Harps seeking their first, and the team lines out as follows. Castletown in goal, John Lyons, Martin Phelan, John Cuddy, Thomas Phelan, Cyril Cuddy, Paul Cuddy, centre back, and Robert Delaney. David Cuddy and Emma Kirwan is the team captain. The ball is thrown in and the game is on. Patrick Cuddy, John O'Sullivan, Finan O'Sullivan, the half forward line. Matty Cuddy, Michael O'Sullivan, Pat Phelan is the full forward line. And first to break away are Castletown. Eamon Kirwan, the captain, trying to get it up. Attack broken up by Billy White. Well sent down the field by the full forward Noel Kirby. He's outplays the third midfielder. Swept out over the sideline by Johnny Cuddy, the full back. And the line ball for the Harps after just 2 minutes, 30 seconds of play. And it'll be taken by the midfielder Tony Dunn for the Harps. Having a word with Pat Moran, the referee. He's not too happy with the quality of the ball.
Ball bursting. Pat.
And we'll give you the Harps team as Tony Dunn lines up this. In goal is Kevin Galvin, Peter Phelan, Patrick Henderson, Michael Monaghan. John Shortall, Ray Fogarty and Billy White is the half back line. Tony Dunn and Tommy Quinn centre field. Albert Townsend, Conor Murphy and Noel Delaney. The team is captained by Tomas Ganna wearing 13. Noel Kirby is at full forward and Mark Donohoe and Tony Dunn with a good line ball. Dropping dangerously in towards the goal mouth. Kept out by Johnny Cuddy for Castletown. Not very far, goes past the Tucker. Castletown attack broken up again, goes back towards Noel Kirby. Kirby along the ground, trying to get it inside, but cutting across there is Tom Phelan for Castletown. Out over the sideline, a second line ball. Tony Dunn again to try, this time from about 25 metres out. Tony Dunn, very cool and calm, playing in his first senior final. He steps up to this line ball. He's been known to score them from farther out. A left-handed stroke, played against Offaly in the Senior Hurling Championship semi-final earlier this year. Well blocked down though by Eamon Kirwan. Gets it back towards Tony Dunn. Tony takes a look at the goal. He takes a shot. It looks a good one from Tony Dunn. The opening score of the 1997 Laois Hurling Final. A point from Tony Dunn after he was set up by Noel Kirby, who seems to be playing around centre of the field, or playing on the captain of the Castletown team. Harps leading by 1 point. The ball breaks out around the half back line, cleared out by Ray Fogarty out there towards Tommy Canagh. Tommy Canagh is beaten. Back there for Castletown is Paul Cuddy. Paul Cuddy trying to keep it from going over the line. Got out over the line. It'll be a Castletown line ball from about 45 metres out. Albert Townsend, the man that knocked it out, and the line ball for Castletown. Line ball by Cyril Cuddy. Gone past centre of the field, but stalemate out there. The ball broken down towards the Harps again. Seems to be the Tucker as he goes to the ground, the captain. He tries to get it out towards Noel Kirby, but the ball kept in play over on the far side, but Castletown 2 men out there. Back towards Paul Cuddy, a long relieving clearance from Paul. Remember when he played in the final here 3 years ago, he scored 2 points in the opening 2 minutes. Ball broken out towards Johnny Sullivan. Out towards TJ Quinn for the Harp. Tony Dunn goes in, sends a great ball way down towards Townsend. It's Townsend still. And there's Noel Delaney. Noel Delaney goes. Blocked by John Lyons. It's Noel Delaney. A shot. A goal! A goal by Noel Delaney. Oh, John Lyons hitting a prayer. As the ball broke to Noel Delaney, he smashed it at the back of the Castletown net. The Harps lead a goal and a point. The Harps lead by a goal and a point. Castletown no score, and Castletown playing with a slight breeze. Puck out by John Lyons. This man is not often beaten. Ball breaks towards Johnny Sullivan. Pulls hard. Out towards Eamon Kirwan. Castletown on the attack. David Cuddy trying to set up an attack. Tries to get the ball inside. In towards Pat Phelan. Pat Phelan is beaten. Going to go in towards the goalkeeper Kevin Galvin. Back in there too is the cornerback Peter Phelan, and Peter Phelan a long relieving clearance way down past centre of the field towards Paul Cuddy. Paul Cuddy's shot goes back towards Cyril Cuddy. Cyril Cuddy's shot is blocked down. Out there, Noel Delaney again. He tries to get it back. It's actually Tommy Canagh, the Tucker, the captain, about to be hooked. It's still the Tucker. Hand pass in towards Townsend. A shot outside of the net and wide. A good effort by Townsend, but out over the end line and wide. The first wide of the game. Puck out to be taken by John Lyons in a worried Castletown defence. And a bit of strong round towards Podgy Cuddy. Ball towards David Cuddy. David Cuddy, a shot and a good ball out over the end line and wide. Well, a blistering start by the underdogs, the Harps. They played in one final here previously. That was back in 1984. They drew with Portlaoise the opening day, but were well beaten 2-14 to 1-7 in a replay. Ball to be poked out by Peter Phelan, the cornerback. His father Larry hurled here in the last final played by the Harps in 84. Out towards the Tucker, a good ball from the Tucker. Well blocked down by Johnny Cuddy. And a great ball along the ground from Cuddy. Out towards Johnny Sullivan. A good ball from Sullivan. In towards Pat Phelan. Pat Phelan is beaten though. Ball goes back. Out towards Mickey Sullivan. Out towards David Cuddy. Gone out over the side and be a line ball for the Harps. David Cuddy to take it. David Cuddy steps up to this line ball, puts a good ball in, dropping dangerously in towards the goal mouth. Well taken over the Harps and half back Tommy PJ Quinn playing a centre field. It's another Castletown on the attack. Referee blows his whistle for a foul there on Cyril Cuddy by Tommy Canna.
Car number W350 is causing a major obstruction at the main stand gate. W350. We will request you to remove it immediately. Thank you.
Hello? Yeah. Right. And the opening score of the game for Castletown, a point by Pat Phelan after 5 minutes of play. Finan O'Sullivan a shot on a point for Castletown, their second score of the game. A goal and a point to 2 points after just 8 minutes of play. Castletown on the attacking towards Pat Phelan. Tackled. Power Henderson trying to get the ball out towards Pat Phelan. Out towards Eamon Kirwan, the captain. Kirwan tries to get it back in. Tackled by Billy White. Billy White doesn't get it far. It goes towards the centre field player, Tony Dunn. Tony Dunn is beaten. Goes back towards Pat Phelan. Trying to get around his man. He's fouled by Thomas Quinn. But the referee says play on. And good work by the Harps. Well cleared out. Well past centre field. Out towards Conor Murphy, the centre forward, brought to the ground. Referee blows his whistle towards the free to the Harps from about 55 metres out. Conor.
Justin!
Yeah.
Or not Justin, Conor. Come on, Conor! Conor, you want to get back out?
Yeah. Okay. Right. Senior hurling final, an exciting start as the Harps, the underdogs, had a point from and 3 minutes into the game. The great goal resulted in a goal by Noel Delaney. A goal and a point for the Harps before Castletown opened their account with a point from Pat Phelan from a free after 7 minutes. And 2 minutes later, a great point from play by Finan O'Sullivan leaves the score when after just 11 minutes of play. The Harps a goal and a point. Castletown 2 points. Has added a second point to the Harps in the 11th minute of the game to leave the score. The Harps a goal and 2 points. Castletown 2 points. But it must be remembered that Castletown came with a slight breeze, otherwise perfect conditions. Tomas Canna adding the second point there for the Harps. Out there is Billy White. Billy White trying to get a good clearance, gets it down. Waiting for it out here though is Finan O'Sullivan. The referee blows his whistle. A foul there by a Castletown man. John O'Sullivan, and a free out for the Harps. A goal and 2 points to 2 points. Tony Dunn about to take this free. He seems to be back on his own. Don't know that.
No.
Ah, probably is. Yeah. The referee, Pat Moran, taking the name of the Harps defender, Billy White, there for an altercation, I think, with Tori Cuddy. He's going to get a word of advice from the trainer, John Burke. His name is in the book, but anyway, the free out on the far side for a foul, and it'll be taken by Tony Dunn, the long striking Harps man. Sends a magnificent ball dropping into the parallelogram. Danger in here as the ball goes out towards Martin Phelan for the Harps, or for Castletown, but back there is Paul Cuddy, and Paul said a long relevant clearance well beyond centre field up towards Johnny Sullivan. Johnny Sullivan's jersey is pulled, but the referee says play on. Swept out there by Ray Fauchery, doesn't go very far towards Noel Kirby, playing at centre field while pulling in there by a Harps defender, and the referee, well, strange enough, he allows that to go on because that was a very wild pull there by Noel Kirby. But the ball breaks out towards Castletown man. It's David Cuddy, a chance for David, shot, but there's a tail on and it goes out over the end line, a bad wide for Castletown. Their second wide. Certainly Pat Moran was generous there to Noel Kirby in that incident there just a few moments ago. Don't go too far. Sit down there. Ball poked out on that on the far side of the field. Going very near the sideline. Gone out over the sideline. Line ball for the Harps.
The Harps line ball.
That's a run down there. Hold the ball down there.
And it's the Harps line ball.
Don't go too far. Line ball dropping dangerously around the parallelogram. Forwards are in, but in there too is John Cuddy. A good ball swept out by Eamon Kirwan. A long relevant clearance by the captain. He's looking for the full forward up here. Pat Phelan, got a break towards Phelan. He's inside his chance. Oh, saved by Kevin Galvin. Oh, it looked to be well taken by Galvin. There wasn't a lot to spare, but he got it away. It wasn't over the line. And ball breaks out towards the far side, out towards Sir Cuddy. Out there too is Eamon Kirwan. Irwin is back helping out of the defence. He's playing well in the opening minutes. Harpsman on the ground, but the referee says play on as the ball drops in towards the far side towards Finan O'Sullivan. Finan O'Sullivan is beaten. Ball gone out over the side in a line ball for Castletown. Score remains Castletown 2 points, the Harps a goal and 2. That goal by Noel Delaney separating the sides. John Sullivan goes high but leaves the ball behind him. Tony Dunn comes out, sweeps the ball way down towards the far end, down towards Noel Delaney, the man that got the goal. He's trying to get in for another one, but he's a bit far out. He's trying to get around Martin Phelan. That won't be easy, but he's gone soloing. Trying to get room to swing, but he's well kept out there by Martin Phelan. And a great ball well taken by Paul Cuddy, the centre half back for Castletown. He's looking for Johnny Sullivan. Sullivan pulls, doesn't connect. Ball breaks to the brother Mickey. Mickey won't connect either as the ball half blocked out. Goes to the other brother, Finan. He's looking for Pat Phelan, but Pat Phelan has the ball taken away from him. Out comes the goalkeeper, Kevin Galvin. The minor sweeps it way down towards the far end of the field. Going to break towards Tom Phelan. Tom Phelan. In there too is Sir Cuddy. Sir trying to get it up. Ball beaten away from the by Tom Austin. Going to break towards the Tucker Canal. The Tucker leaves it behind him. Goes back, gets it a second time. Well beaten though by Paul Cuddy as Paul sends a great ball way up towards Finan O'Sullivan. About to be tackled by a Harpsman. Out over the line by Tomas Quinn. The referee says, the linesman says it was brought out by Finan O'Sullivan. And it'll be a line ball for the Harps. Just inside their own half of the field. Will it be Tony Dunn to take it? He cuts a good one, or does he? Drops a bit short. It's going to go towards Cyril Cuddy in a new role of a half-back, but playing very, very well in the opening minutes here. Going to break past Tony Dunn. Going to break towards the centre half-back for the Harps, Ray Fogarty. And the long ball dangerously down towards the full forward line. In towards Conor Murphy and out over the end line and wide. Well, the Harps haven't driven many wides here, but they have driven a few. That was a bad one. But certainly the game not developing any great pattern in the opening is that goal by Noel Delaney stung Castletown. but they have recovered well and their backs are hurling very well in the last 10 minutes or so. Ball breaks out towards Tony Dunn. Tony goes for it, one-handed. The referee gives him a free. Fionnán Sullivan is not happy with it. John Sullivan's not happy with it, but Pat Moran is happy with it and the Harps are happy with it. Tony Dunn, well, getting a word of advice there from Jimmy Lyons not to be fouling, because it can be lethal with a man like Tony Dunn striking them from long distances, from his own half back line. Bends and lifts and strikes. He sends a good ball, not as far this time, but it's going straight to a Castletown man, but it breaks towards the Harps man. Towards Conor Murphy. Well blocked up by Johnny Cuddy, but he won't get it very far. Out towards the Tucker. Tucker taking a look at the goal, taking a shot, and a point from the Tucker. A goal and 3 for the Harps. 2 of them came from the stick of the Tucker. 1 from Tony Dunn and a goal from Noel Delaney. As the ball drops around the half back line, Ray Foley goes up, leaves the ball behind him, goes to big Podgy Cuddy. Podgy doesn't get it very far. He might get in towards the full far, in towards Mahi Cuddy. Mahi was lethal in the semi-final. Not very effective so far, but he's going to get this ball, trying to get a shot in. Takes a shot, and a good point from Mahi Cuddy. That's a goal and 3-3. Castletown mentors having a word here. Would we about to see a change in the team? Could we see a forward going in? I don't know. Ball poked out by Peter Phelan. Young man played under 21 with Laois. Ball breaks towards Eamon Kirwan. Eamon Kirwan sends a great ball way up towards David. David a chance of a point. Takes a look at the goal and a great shot from David Cuddy. Two points in 30 seconds. One by David Cuddy and one by Matty Cuddy. I don't know who's going off the Castletown team. I don't know who's going on. Ball breaks out towards big Matty Cuddy again. Ball half blocked out by a Harpsman. Is going to go out, not gone out yet. Goes back to Matty Cuddy. Ball out towards Noel Kirby. Noel Kirby back out, helping out around the full back line now. He's lined out full forward, but he's playing around centre field towards Tony Dunn. Tony Dunn. Ball towards Noel Delaney. Taken off Noel Delaney by John Cuddy. John playing well at full back for Castletown. Good ball up around the centre of the field. Out towards Tony Dunn. This man can be lethal if he's on form, but he's well handled there by Castletown, by Fionnán Sullivan. He gets it to TJ Quinn, a Thurles man. Thurles man drops the dangerous ball in towards John Lyons. John Lyons under pressure and takes a good ball out of clouds. Referee blows his whistle, awards a free out for overactivity by the Harps attack. John Lyons with the free himself. Ball towards Paul Cuddy. Paul Cuddy. David Cuddy scored a great point a couple of moments ago. He might get another one here. He sends in the long ball. This time it's tailing out to the left and wide. It's certainly a real battle here at middle of the field with David Cuddy and Tony Dunn, and well, it's breaking about even at the moment. Tony got a point and David got a point. Kevin Galvin, he'll play with the Harps in the minor championship later in the year, but he's playing very well for the seniors. Harps on the attack. Conor Murphy trying to get it down the far side. Down towards Albert Townsend, referee blows his whistle. He might be about to hop this ball. Thrown in on the far side, we're going to break out towards Paul Cuddy. A great ball way up towards the far side, towards Pat Phelan. Phelan takes a look at the goal, he takes a shot. It looks a good one from Pat Phelan, a great point. Well, just a point between the sides, a goal and 3 points for the Harps, 5 points for Castletown. Nice scores from play by Pat Phelan and David Cuddy. Not to mention that excellent point by Matty Cuddy. The last 3 scores have come from play. Peter Phelan, the man who pucks out, and the Harps descends. Goes towards TJ Quinn. Going to be beaten though by David Cuddy. Ball breaks out towards Ray Fogarty, the centre half back. Goes back towards Cyril. Cyril going to pull along the ground. Getting the better of his man certainly in the opening minutes. David Cuddy's shot spins off his hurley, but it might go to Pat Phelan. Pat Phelan has the ball taken away from though by Peter Phelan. And Peter Phelan sends a long relieving clearance. Well taken out there by Martin Phelan. Or Cyril Martin Phelan, that is. Martin Phelan out towards Billy White. Billy White gets it down along the far side. Down towards the far corner, but swept out by Tom Phelan over there for Castletown. Gone very near the sideline, gone over the sideline. The JP Amaro wears the flag. TJ Quinn picks up the ball for the line ball. Hello, how are you? We're on 21 minutes. You put me in, yeah? All right, right. And another point for Tomas Cana, bringing his total to 3 points. A goal and 4 to 5 points after 25 minutes of play in the Laois hurling final.
The Harps are not moving.
Hello. All right, right.
A garden request for the owner of car number W350 to remove that car immediately. It's very important. This is a garden announcement. For the owner of car number W350, please remove it immediately. Come on, Albert!
It's 146 points at the moment. In favour of the Harps, yeah. About 1:47 as we speak. All right. Pat Phelan sends over the 7-pointer for Castletown from a free. And we make the sides level with about 2 minutes to go at a half-time. Pat Phelan's third point. A good point from a free from about 60 metres out. The ball's poked out and way down along the far side. A stalemate as the ball breaks across over there. It's Noel Delaney gone solo in through. Tomas Cana goes to the ground. Referee Pat Moran blows his whistle and the water free into the Harps from about 25 metres out. Tomas Cana with a free. Tomas has already had 3. Tony Dunn has 1. And a chance here for Tucker to increase his tally. Maybe give his side the lead just before half time. He bends and lifts and sends a gut over the bar. We make it 1-5 to 7 points, just a point separating the sides. Castletown yet to get a goal, but have improved greatly since the opening 5 minutes. John Lyne's about to puck out, and I think the wind has dropped slightly. A great puck out. Dropping beyond centre field. Ray Fogarty's in there. Not getting long clearances. Going to break towards TJ Quinn. Well taken by Paul Cuddy, the centre half back. Going to break towards Podgy. Podgy a shot. He's looking for somebody inside. Is that Finan? Is Pat Phelan? Phelan a chance to the equaliser. A great point by Pat Phelan. Well, certainly Castletown picking off the scores from play, while Harps are mostly dependent on points from place balls. Tomas Cana has got 4, but Castletown another great point from play from Pat Phelan. He scored 1 from a free just a few moments ago, and are we about to go in at half time with the sides level. 1-5 to 8 points. Remember, the Harps drew their last county final, that was 13 years ago. Kevin Galvin with the puck out, dropping it well beyond centre field. Certainly not affected by the breeze with that puck out. Back there is Eamon Kirwan, the captain for Castletown. Doesn't go very far. He goes towards Tony Dunn for the Harps. Tony trying to hand pass it in, but waiting for it in there is Noel Kirby. Noel Kirby is about to be beaten by Tom Phelan. Tom Phelan leaves the ball behind him. In there is Noel Delaney. Forward goes to the ground. Referee Pat Moran says play on. Dangerous. The ball goes back out towards Noel Delaney. Trying to get room to swing. Hard to get room in there. Out towards Tomas Quinn. Going to be beaten up by David Cuddy. David Cuddy wins this one. Castletown on the attack. Cyril Cuddy sent a long relay and clear. The big ball up towards Mahi Cuddy. Ball breaks away from Mahi Cuddy towards Pat Phelan. Pat Phelan is beaten. The ball going very near the sideline. Not gone out over yet because Cyril Cuddy's gone back covering acres around this man. Very near the sideline on the far side. Tries to get a shot across the goal mouth. Across the centre of the field. He's going to break towards Billy White. Well taken by Billy White. Send it out towards Tony Dunn. Tony Dunn, a great shot on the run. Is it a point? No, out over the end line and wide. A bad shot from Tony Dunn. Good work there by Billy White. Looking very like a draw at half time. John Lyons pucks out in the goal. Not a very long one from John. It'll only go as far here as the half back line. Disaster. Here's the ball, breaks in towards Noel Delaney. Noel Delaney trying to get in towards Conor Murphy. A shot, well blocked by John Lyons in the goal. He's under pressure, but in there too is Tom Phelan. They can't get it up. How good hand pass out though, and well cleared out the field for Castletown by Martin Phelan. Ball breaks towards Podgy Cuddy. Harps on the attack again. Shot, Bray Fogarty shot blocked down by Eamon Kirwan. Eamon Kirwan goes to the ground. Did he touch it on the ground? Line ball is Podgy Cuddy. But a tackle there on Ray Fogarty. The referee didn't see it. Line ball from Robert Delaney. Get the good ball up towards Johnny Sullivan. John Sullivan going forward. He's tackled by Tony Dunn. Fouled by Tony Dunn. And a free in for Castletown right in front of the goal. And a chance for Castletown to get the lead for the only time in this opening half. We make it about 2 minutes gone in injury time. Pat Phelan, the sharpshooter, he's about to step up to this one. Pat has already got 4. Straight in front of the goal, a chance for Castletown to take the lead as they go in at half time. Bends and lifts and strikes, and a lovely ball from Pat Phelan. That's his 5th in the 32nd minute. and Pat Moran about to blow the whistle for the half-time. And at half-time, the Harps, who had led for so long and dominated the early stages, they go in a point behind. Castletown 9 points. The Harps a goal and 5 will join us for the second half. Would you? Are they? Then you'd be biased though. One change on the Harps team as Andrew Muldowney comes in place of Mark Donoghue for the start of the second half.
Number 20, Andrew Muldowney, replaces number 10, Albert Townsend on the car.
In fact, he's replacing Albert Townsend. The ball is thrown in Castletown first. The attack as the ball drops in from Mick O'Sullivan towards Pat Phelan. Oh, Sullivan a goal! Oh, Finan O'Sullivan was in like a flash. Oh, the Harps goalkeeper, Kevin Galvin, relaxed for a moment, and Finan O'Sullivan kicked the ball to the back of the net. What a start for Castletown, 30 seconds into the second half. Well, the ball started from his own brother Mickey, came in from the far corner and swept to the net by Finan O'Sullivan. And now the score is a goal and 9 points for Castletown, a goal and 5 for the Harps. 4 points between the sides as the breeze seems to have dropped here at Moore Park and the sun coming out. Out there is TJ Quinn, not as effective as he has been in the earlier rounds as he breaks the ball towards Tony Dunn. Tony Dunn, a fabulous long shot, is going to go. John Lyons shepherds it out over the end line and the ball goes out wide. The score remains 1-9 for Castletown, 1-5 for the Harps. Oh, the opportunist of Finan O'Sullivan once again. Ball poked out beyond centre field. TJ Quinn goes for it. Leaves it behind him. Cyril Cuddy gets it. Out towards Pat Phelan. Pat Phelan trying to get around the Harpsman. Out towards Tony Dunn. Tony, the determination of Tony, sends a great ball towards the Tucker, the captain. The captain sends a great ball in towards the full forward line. Is it Noel Kirby gone in full forward? But then there, Wettenford is Martin Phelan. Martin Phelan, good shot, doesn't go that far, but Wettenford here is the centre half back, or centre field player, David Cuddy. David sends a long ball way down towards the full forward line, down towards Matty. Matty, ball taken by Kevin Galvin in the Harps goal and cleared well beyond centre field, where Eamon Kirwan is Wettenford, bats it down. Wettenford there though is Tony Dunn. Tony Dunn, well harassed, but he gets the ball a second time. Sends it in towards the full forward, in towards Noel Kirby. Kirby goes to the ground. The referee says he's a free in and he's awarding the free to Harps from about 35 metres out. Andrew Muldowney certainly came on there in the second half. We thought it was Mark Donoghue who was gone off, but in fact it's Albert Townsend. And Tommy Tucker-Canna shot in the point from the Tucker. That's his 5th point in the 33rd minute.
That's enough, guys. No more. Come in here now. That's it. Finished.
Ball put out by John Lyons. Well cleared out by Ray Fogarty, beyond centre field. Well taken up by Martin Phelan in the Harp. That's along the fence. He's going to go back though as far as Ray Fogarty. Grabbed by Ray Fogarty, the centre half back. Trying to get room to swing and send a good long relieving clearance. He's looking for the Tucker. Ball goes towards Noel Delaney. Going to be swept away from Noel Delaney. Out there too is Eamon Kirwan. Eamon Kirwan goes out, sends the ball way down towards the sideline. Out there too is Tony. Liam, Billy White. Billy White goes to the ground. The referee blows the whistle awards the free to the Harps. Score remains 1-9 to 1-6. Just 3 points between the sides, little or nothing in hurling. And the breeze getting a bit stronger now as the game goes into the 5th minute of the second half. I see the other Townsend brother warming up the way. Albert went off and Freddie comes on.
Graiguecullen and Drumaldine, number 20 replaced number 15, Mark Donoghue.
That's what we thought. Correction there, it was actually Mark Donoghue went off and Albert is still there. He might soon be joined by the brother Freddie. Danger here as Noel Delaney goes for the ball. Remember the man that got the goal. Well, he hasn't done a lot since, but he sends in a dangerous ball, well taken by John Lyons in the Castletown goal. John played a lot of his underage hurling at full back, but he's playing very well in goal for the last couple of years. Out towards Paul Cuddy. Paul Cuddy's shot going to go very short, going to go very near the sideline. Out over the sideline, a line ball for the Harps, or is it for Castletown? Martin Phelan will take it. Down here, Martin Phelan with the line ball, but Tony Dunn waiting for it all alone. The attack broken up though, 3 Castletown men out there. They're really out to mark this man Tony Dunn, and they're working very effectively. He goes towards Johnny Sullivan, he's going to leave it out towards Podgy. Podgy doesn't do very well because it goes to Billy White. Billy White's going to get out towards the corner. He's looking for Kirby, is it out here? Ball going out over the side, and it'll be a line ball for Castletown. Knocked out by Noel Kirby, who seems to be gone in full forward in the second half. Well, Albert goes off now and he's replaced by the brother Fred. Not too happy with that decision. Ball goes out towards Finan. Finan is shot out over the side to be a line ball for the Harps. But out
number 21, Freddie Townsend replacing number 10, Albert Townsend.
One of the big lads took the ball off me and hit it out.
Did it?
Yeah. His ball.
Yeah. Line ball to be taken by TJ Quinn, the Tipperary man playing for the Harps. Johnny Sullivan goes to the ground, goes back to TJ Quinn. TJ long relay and clearance, way up towards the full forward line. He's looking for Noel Kirby. Out there too is Tom Phelan. Tom Phelan for Castletown. Ball bitten away in there is Fred Townsend. Fred pulling a bit wild, referee says play on. Ball in towards Kirby. Nobody's taken away Noel Delaney. Noel Delaney hand pass it in, but well taken by John Lyons in the Castletown goal. Sends a long relay and clearance. Way out around centre field, out towards Podgy Cuddy. Hand Finan Sullivan breaks to the Podgy. Podgy sends it out towards the wing. He's looking for Pat Phelan. Pat Phelan about to be tackled by Mickey Monaghan. Is it a shot from Phelan? It's going to tail out over the end line and wide. First wide for Castletown in the second half. Ball poked out towards the centre field. Well taken out there by David. Back helping out to the fence, and a lovely ball out to the twin brother Paul. Paul takes a look at the shot. He's looking for the Pat Phelan. Pat Phelan beats Pat Phelan, but he's going to follow it up. Beaten by Mickey Monaghan. Monaghan goes back in, tries to set up an attack there. Goes towards Peter Phelan. Going to break towards Finan. Finan is beaten up by Billy White. Finan gets the better, but he gets it back towards Podgy. Podgy leaves it behind him. Podgy, Pat Phelan, pick it off the ground. Referee blows his whistle towards a free out. And I won't be surprised if there's a sub in the Castletown team very shortly. And it could be Podgy Cuddy is going off. I see a sub going on. Is it Mick Butler? It is indeed Mick Butler, whose father, the late father PJ, played with Cuddy in the 50s. Or is it Mick O'Sullivan is going off? I'm not too sure. It's Mick O'Sullivan is going off. Free, a long range free, dropping in dangerously in here. Chance of a goal. And out over the end line, oh, narrowly wide. No. The score remains 1-9 to 1-6. We're playing about...
Number 17, Michael Butler, replacing number 14, Michael O'Sullivan on the Castletown team.
Mick will return to the Castletown side after a few years in the Castletown, in the Portlaoise jersey. Taken off. So we're replaced by Mick Butler. Paul Cuddy trying to break up an attack over here. Referee blows his whistle. Does he award it free, or does he know he waves play on? As the ball dropped down towards Billy White. Billy White trying to keep it in play. But Eamon Kirwan gets the break. It won't come up for him though. He goes back, tries to get it a second time. gone out over the sideline, and the line ball this time, well, it had seemed to me to go out from a Harps man, but the linesman on the far side seems to think that it was knocked out by Eamon. Kirwan, and he's awarded free on the far side, or line ball. Hello, how are you? 7 points to 4 in favour of Loughlin, trained by the great Doc Hughes. Yeah, Laois man. Yeah. Well, he seems to have a full crew here anyway. A chance for the Harps, a shot! Oh, cut out by John Lyons, and not cut out yet. A goal for the Harps! So, the sides are level. Oh, bad mistake by the Castletown defence. The sides are level, 1-9 to 2-6. Hello? And a point lead for the Harps, scored by Tomas Cana. His 5th point of the game, a point from a free. Actually his 6th point to make it 2-7 to 1-9. .18 left in the Laois hurling final. Harps leading by a point. Got out over the end line and wide. A close one there, a let off for the Harps. Danger in the goal, but gone out over the end line. The score remains 2-7 to 1-9 in favour of the Harps. No. Ball poked out around the centre of the field. Out there is Freddie Townsend, the referee. Seems to have no way to play on. Back there is Cyril Cuddy, brought to the ground. Colin, stop beating that. Stop beating that. Free to be taken by Paul Cuddy. Sends a great ball down towards Pat Phelan and Finan O'Sullivan. In towards Johnny Sullivan, going to break towards the brother Finan. A chance of the equaliser from Finan, sends in the dangerous ball in here. Well cut by the goalkeeper, but the chance of a goal for Castletown. I think it's gone into the net. Has the flag gone up? While the referee, Pat Moran, has gone in there, but I think the flag has gone up. And a goal for Castletown. We're not too sure who finished it. It might have been Matty Cuddy to leave Castletown ahead by 2 points. 2-9 to 2-7. Yeah, we'll get another hurling on the goal. Ball going out towards John Sullivan. Right. Castletown on the attack, dangerous ball dropping in. It looks a good one. It's gone over the bar. A great point by Pat Phelan, putting 3 points between the sides. 2-10 to 2-7. Huh? You mind yourself now. Out towards Paul Cuddy, the centre half back. We make it about 15 minutes left. Castletown on the attack again. The ball breaks towards Sir Cuddy. Goes away from him. Tackled by the Tucker. But still Sir Cuddy tries to get to Finan. Well taken by Finan O'Sullivan. This man is lethal in the Castletown attack today. He's going solo. He leaves Ray Fogarty behind him. A chance of a score here. But he should have went for a point. But he goes for the goal. Ball is well blocked down by Peter Phelan and cleared up for the Harps. Going out towards Eamon Kirwan, the Castletown captain. Well done by Eamon Kirwan. Beats his man. Loses the ball. Goes back a second time. Back towards Mick Butler. The man who came in as sub. But Harps on the attack. Back there is Conor Murphy. Back a good ball out from Conor Murphy. As Harps come red, and it's Freddie Townsend, isn't it? Freddie takes a look at the goal. He takes a shot. Dangerous ball dropping in towards the parallelogram. Danger here for Castletown. John Lyons goes out in a similar situation a few minutes ago. Got a goal from Conor Murphy to level the game. Ball comes across in danger here for the Heart, for Castletown. But the referee must have blown his whistle. Is he warning a free in or? What's that? Hello? Yeah. Right. Dramatic moment here as the ball from a penalty is cleared by the Castletown defence. For Castletown, finished to the net. It looked to be Podgy Cuddy, but the ball came in from Mick Butler, a crashing ball to the roof of the net. Right.
Hey, sorry, how much is it? Excuse me, how much is there left? How much?
12 minutes. 12 minutes.
17 minutes gone.
Ball's poked out and way down the field. The referee blows his whistle, awards a free to Castletown or a free to the Harps. For our own half back line, the scoreline says Castletown 3 goals and 10 points, the Harps 2 goals and 8. Ball dropping dangerously in towards the goal mouth, in towards John Lyons, and cleared out. Hello! Yeah. I'm hanging on. Yeah. Yes, indeed. And they join us at a very dramatic moment. About 12 minutes to go. Castletown have built up a 5-point lead. But the full story behind that is the sides were level just about 5 minutes ago. But a great goal from Conor Murphy after Fionn O'Sullivan had got a goal for Castletown 30 seconds into the second half. But Castletown have hit back for 2 great goals. One coming from Portlaoise Puddy, and the second one a dramatic goal when the ball came into Fionn O'Sullivan was flicked to the net by Matty Puddy for the third goal, their third goal of the game. So with about 11 minutes left, it's the Harps 2 goals and 8, and the Harps last score again from substitute Freddie Townsend. But with 11 minutes to go, Castletown looking good on the scoreline of 3 goals and 10 points, the Harps 2 goals and 8. Ball gone very near the sideline on the far side, but captain played out by Martin Phelan. He's having an excellent game as the ball goes down towards Podgy Cuddy. And here comes the Tucker back helping out to the fence. The cap playing a captain's part. But the ball's broken down here by Cyril Cull. Cyril having an excellent second half. Sends a long relieving clearance for Castletown. He's looking for Pat Phelan. He's lost the helmet. One of the 3 Phelan brothers in the team. Great clearance by Kevin Galvin as the ball drops down around Paul Cuddy, the centre half back. Paul Cuddy about to be tackled, but the ball breaks out towards Noel Delaney on a solo run. Trying to get past the 2 or 3 Castletown defenders. Referee says carry the ball too far, and Castletown are quite relieved with that. I see a sub coming on. Is it the great Jim Yogi Fogarty? It looks to be Yogi is in the team, is in the game. A man who scored frequently in the early rounds of the championship. 9 minutes left. And the sub on the team, we're not too sure who's going off. Is it Conor Murphy? As Jim Fogarty comes in, is he going full forward? Castletown leading by 5 points as John Lyons pucks out. They won their first title beating Portlaoise here 3 years ago. Lost the title to Cameras last year. They're back in the hunt this year, appearing in their 3rd final in a row. As David Cuddy robs his man, the referee says he fouled him and he's awarding a free out. So a foul against David Cuddy. A bit harshly one might have thought, but he was a free to the Harps. From their own half back line, Peter Phelan to take it. 5 points between the sides. Remember when they appeared here in 84, the Harps led for the entire game until Liam Bergen smashed that ball to the back of the net with 2.5 minutes to go to draw the game. Greatly out towards centre half back, Ray Fogarty. Ray Fogarty, wild pull by Ray Fogarty. Referee says play on. And David Cuddy with the ball. Out towards Mick Butler. Mick Butler down towards Pat Phelan. Pat Phelan trying to get out towards Fionn O'Sullivan. Out there's Peter Phelan for the Harp. Peter sends a long relieving clearance way down onto the far side. They're looking for Tony Dunn maybe over the far side. Tony seems to have faded out of this game. He moved into the attack. Ball breaks out to a Castletown man. Out towards Podgy Cuddy. Podgy Cuddy gets the better of his man out there. Tries to get the ball in towards actually Podgy Cuddy with the ball now. Podgy is shot and it looks a good one. Yes indeed, a good point by Podgy Cuddy. Ball poked out, quickly taken out, goes right towards Cyril. Cyril leaves it behind him, goes to the Tucker. Stalemate out there as Paul Cuddy tries to break up the attack. Ball towards Johnny Sullivan. Johnny Sullivan leaves towards Matty Cuddy. Matty Cuddy Matty Cuddy is shot and dropping dangerously in, but they're waiting in there on his own. It's the goalkeeper, Kevin Galvin. Loads of time to collect it. Sends the ball way out towards the centre of the field. 6 points between the sides. 3 goals and 11 points for Castletown. 2 goals and 8. They're appearing in 5 finals in 6 years. A tremendous record for a small club. In junior, they defeated Shanahoe. In the intermediate, they defeated Ballinackill in a great intermediate final. They lost the first senior semi-final that they competed, but they have come back and won the last 3 to appear in 3 finals. Beating Portlaoise, losing the Cameras, and now looking very good, like very much like beating the Harps, appearing in only their second final in 13 years. Mick Peters in there offering a word of advice to Podgy Cuddy, telling him to cool it down. And certainly they have played very well with those crucial goals, coming at crucial stages. Certainly swinging the game, particularly that goal by Finan O'Sullivan, just 30 seconds into that second half, really stung the Harps. Eamon Kirwan, the team captain, well, he captained the intermediate side against Ballinackill. The first senior captain was John O'Sullivan. Ball poked out to the far side, out towards Billy White, short one. Going to break towards Tony Dunn. Well, Tony has gone out of this game very much up towards Ray Fogarty and attacked the brother John. Jim is in there and around the full forward line. They might get it in and hope for a goal from Jim. He scored a couple of great goals early on. Ball going very near the sideline, but kept in played off by Tom Phelan. Is it in the Castletown full back line? Gets it out towards Robbie Delaney, and Robbie Delaney sends a good ball down the far side, and Podgy Cuddy out playing very well in the last 10 minutes or so, trying to get the ball in towards the smaller Finan O'Sullivan, but Finan very effective in the Castletown attack. One brother Michael has gone off, but there's still 2 brothers there, John and Finan. Worried faces here in the Harps dugout. We make it about 2 or 3 minutes left here in this game, and Castletown looking good for their second O'Keefe Cup. As Pat Phelan steps up, he could score a point here. It would really be the clincher. He sends a high ball and straight over the bar. He's 7 points, put 7 points between them as Paul Cuddy, the star of the team, have won the final 3 years ago. Sends the ball out towards John O'Sullivan. John O'Sullivan shot and straight over the bar. And now it's all Castletown. Harps. Ball broken around centre field. Ray Fogarty hasn't given up yet, but the ball breaks out favourably around centre field for Billy White. But certainly Noel Delaney after that goal was very well tied up by the Castletown defence. Playing very, very well. Ball breaks out towards Finan O'Sullivan. Finan goes towards Tony Dunn. Tony won't get it very far. Goes back to get it a second time. It's Finan O'Sullivan. Beats Tony Dunn. Going on a solo run. Beats another Harps man. He gets the ball in. The referee says play on. He might have awarded a free in the Castletown. He does the second time for a foul there by Peter Phelan. And while Harps would appear to have conceded this game at this stage, they never produced the form of the earlier rounds. And I suppose the performance of the Castletown midfield, when they completely outwitted Tony Dunn, particularly in the second half, really a telling factor as Pat Phelan steps up a chance to put 8 points between the sides, 3 goals and 13 points to 2 goals and 9. As Pat Phelan steps up to this one, bends and lifts and strikes, and Pat's 8 points.
Hey! Young lad, hey! Get down. Got enough, boy! Got enough! Isn't nice?
3 goals and 14 points to 2 goals and 8. Harps go on the attack. As the ball goes towards Paul Cuddy, out towards the captain Eamon Kirwan. Eamon Kirwan out towards Podgy Cuddy, leaves it behind him. but the Harps don't even seem to have the heart go for. Billy White goes to the ground, referee blows his whistle, awards a free to the Harps. But it's a lost cause at this stage because there's 9 points between the sides. 3 goals in 14 to 2 goals in 8. And who could have visualised this here at half time, or particularly in the opening quarter when the Harps seem to be doing all the hurling. Tony Dunn bends and lifts and strikes, and to sum up, Tony Dunn sends it over the bar for a point that hardly even raises a cheer from the Harps followers. While Tony opened as if he might destroy that Castletown, but he's faded completely. John Lyons pucks out. When the sides met here, Cuddah and Cullehill back in 59, Jimmy Lyons played at centre half forward with Cuddah. Tommy White was centre half back. He'd be an uncle of Billy White. And Billy's brother played here with Philip, played here in 1984. Martin Phelan sends a good ball down. Out towards Podgy. Podgy along the round, out towards Pat Phelan. Pat Phelan. Eamon Kirwan goes to the ground. Referee plays on. Out towards Johnny Sullivan. Johnny all on his own. The inspirational captain of 3 years ago. Gets a lovely ball across to the brother Finan. Takes a look. Referee blows his whistle. It's all over. And Castletown are the champions by 9 points. A clear win. And very merited performance on a goal score of 3 goals and 14 points. The 2 goals and 9, there can certainly be no questions about it. 8 points separating the sides at the final whistle, but no denying that the honours rest where they belong, as referee Pat Moran blows the long whistle and sees Castletown take their second title in 3 final appearances. Well, match is over.
Someone took his horn back. Oh, there, sinner. That be down there below.
Some big lad, he said.
What do you know, Joe? What do you know?
Go on, all right.
Come on down with me and see that your ball.
Go down there, the man that gets the
Come on
ball.
down here with me and see that your ball.
Go on down.
I wouldn't know.
Go on down.
Come on down here with me. Come on.
Go on down, that man that gets the ball.
John Beard. How are you? Just get in there.
Yeah. Huh? Yeah, right. Give it 10 or 15 minutes, but the final score was 3-14 to 2-9 in favour of Castletown. Bye.
Fathers, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Laois County Board, I heartily congratulate Castletown and the Harps for contesting the 1997 Senior Hurling Championship Final.
think it is fair to say today we had some fine individual performances, some great skills, some great sport, some great scores, but most of all, some excellent sportsmanship, and this is a credit to the two teams, their clubs, their managers and their mentors. Congratulations to all involved. I want to thank the referee, Mr. Pat Moran, and his team of officials, and I also would like to thank the Durham Pipe Band for their attendance here today at the county final. I heartily congratulate Castletown on once again winning the Senior Hurling Championship of 1997. Can I say to you, Castletown, you now shoulder the responsibility of being county champions, and I have no doubt by your performance that I have seen out here today that you will go on to greater things and hopefully bring back the provincial club championship title back to Laois, and maybe know, who knows, a Leinster Cup to Castletown in 1998. To the Harps, I want to thank you for making this a very, very sporting and worthy occasion. Thank you for reaching the county final, and I've no doubt in your performance today that you again will be back here at headquarters in the very, very near future. So God give us the Harps. It now gives me great pleasure to present this magnificent trophy after a great man, the great late Bob O'Keefe, to a great captain, Eamon Kirwan from Castletown. Congratulations.
Scale, Furran Bally an Castlán, agus Muinter Bally an Castlán. Ní mór do mará, go bhfuil mé bródúil at an Furran seo, agus as Muinter Bally an Castlán, agus is mór an áir dumsa, an current seo, a hógáil, agus a húr de ras go Bally an Castlán. People ask me, a neighbour in particular in jest, have I the speech made out? And I said definitely not. And I told him the truth, because I said to try and write a word I'd be tempting fate. But I'm going to start with the Harps, because I know what it's like to stand out there in that field. And I know what it's like to wake up the following morning. And I know that not a thing I say is any consolation to them right now. But they'll wake up some morning in December, or some morning in January, and they'll say, by golly, we're going to give it a go again. And the only word of consolation I can say is we were there 12 months ago, and we're here today. Hip hip! Hip hip! Hip hip! There's many people deserve thanks, but I'm not going to mention any, because I'm going to forget people. But to the people who looked after us as juveniles, the people who looked after hurlers, gave a few slitters, took people to hurling matches, be they men or women, the mothers who some of us went home to and still go home to and ask for the gear to be washed for tomorrow morning, the wives, the girlfriends, the mothers, the sisters, they're all there. And everybody out there and everybody at home in Castletown felt the same as we did this morning, nervous. And they can deserve to go home today with Bob O'Keefe for the second time in 2 years. The people, I see Moran and Carmel and those out there, prepare tea in the ICA hall. And I mentioned two names, didn't want to mention any. They got ready tea for us. We had hurling ball sponsors. We're wearing lovely jerseys, t-shirts, socks, togs, hurls, you name it. We've been looked after. The dressing rooms have been brushed out, the field cut, lines put on it, jerseys washed. Imagine washing these twice a week, all week of the year. Muck, dirt, fine, sweat, it doesn't matter. All I have to say, it's great to be a captain of this Castletown team. It's the greatest day of my life. And it's probably the second greatest, if not the greatest day of everybody up here. Now we're now going back out onto the field. We're going to get a few photographs So we're out to the dressing room and we'll be back in Castletown in an hour and a half.
Ladies and gentlemen, if I could have your attention for just one moment, please, as there is a man of the match award to be presented here, and I would like to call in here Martin Breen, who has kindly presented this award for the last number of years. Martin from Shanahoe, of course, building contractor, known to everybody throughout the county. And the man of the match for the Senior Hurling County Championship Final 1997 from Castletown, Patrick Phelan. Thank you very much indeed, ladies and gentlemen, and safe journey home. Graiguecullen.
Well, I have with me here Sean Mullaney, PRO of the successful Castletown club, and John Cuddy, fullback and trainer of the team. And first of all, we'll talk to Sean Mullaney. Congratulations, Sean.
Thanks, Pat. Thanks.
Plus 2 years ago here, there was great scenes of celebration. Castletown won their first title. Will there be as much now?
I thought the scenes we had 2 years ago were almost matched here today. It was great excitement. I think that everybody spilled onto the pitch the minute the whistle went, and it was a tense enough game all through, so we were glad to hear the final whistle. It was a bit of a relief, even though in the end we finished up with what, 7 or 8 points to spare.
Certainly the Harps looked impressive in the opening quarter, Sean, and I suppose that early goal must have unsettled Castletown, do you think, but they recovered well?
The early goal shook Castletown, but Castletown started nervously. They were missing balls and half hitting them and making mistakes, but when I knew by half-time, when they'd pulled back and went that point ahead at half-time, I thought that was a great way to go in at half-time after probably hurling second fiddle to Harps for most of the first half.
Were you worried when the Harps came back and got the goal and they drew level, we'll say, midway through the second half, and they did seem to be favoured with whatever slight breeze was out there, Sean?
Well, in all matches Castletown played so far, they finished strongly, particularly in the semi-final. Finished very strong against Portlaoise, so as long as they didn't concede any more scores, I wasn't really worried. I thought they could hold out, but I didn't think they'd have as much to spare in the end.
What did you expect from the Harps today, Sean? You were coming here on your third final, whereas they were appearing, none of their players would have played in the final before. The experience must have been vital to Castletown before the game.
That's true, playing our third final, but then again we were afraid that they'd come, like determined like we were 2 years ago. I mean, we were playing our first final then and we won, so there was nothing to stop the Harps from doing similar. So we knew that they'd hit it strong in the first 10 or 15 minutes, and if we could weather that storm, that we'd have a good chance of winning our second title.
You seem to get over the disappointment of losing last year's final, Sean. You made a few changes and they seem to work very effectively. A wonderful achievement, I suppose, appearing in 3 finals in a row, and a relatively young side out here today.
True, it shows Castletown are becoming a very consistent team. Like, to appear in a 3rd final after years of probably in the wilderness, it's a great achievement. So to win 2 out of 3, I think is we're happy enough with that. As you said, we did make some changes. John Sullivan moved up from defence to centre forward, and he played a very good second half there today. And a few other changes. Jerry Phelan retired, and Thomas Phelan came in there, a young 19-year-old. And Robert Delaney also started in his first game today, so he was another 19-year-old.
Why do you think, Sean, though, that Harps, who had played so well for 3/4 of an hour and seemed to be still there, completely fed in the final 15 minutes?
Then again, probably comes back to Castletown's experience. As I said before, they sort of timed their games to finish up strongly, and I think that's what told in the end. Castletown's strong finish.
Sean, congratulations, and go on with the celebrations. We'll talk to John Cuddy, the trainer of the team, in a moment. Hold on there for a minute. I have with me John Cuddy, one of the many Cuddys on the Castletown team, dubbed as the trainer here today and the full-back, and had a fine performance. John, congratulations. It doesn't get any easier, I suppose.
God, it doesn't. It was a very tough game out there, and the Harps pegged everything at us, and we knew we were up against it, and we just happened to come out on top. And I'm delighted. I just don't know how to say it. And the lads give it all. They give it all for the last 6-7 months now. We're at it hard, and I'd like to thank the lads over us and Jimmy Lyons, the effort he put in, and the selectors, Mick Peters, Paddy Cuddy, and of course we had Pat Delaney there for the last couple of weeks, and he really put us through the middle, and we came out trumps today, and that's what it's all about, I suppose.
John, you have played in the 3 finals now, and I suppose how would you compare this year to the final that you won 2 years ago?
Well, it's hard to compare. Every final is brilliant, but on the day, there's no words for how happy you would be after winning any final. It doesn't matter what team, it doesn't matter who you are. It's just absolutely marvellous.
Do you find the role of trainer a bit much, and trainer and player, and considering that you would have grown up with a lot of these fellas and they're still a relatively young team, was it hard to implement what you wanted done?
Well, all the lads knew what we had to do this year. It wasn't me, it wasn't anybody. Like, every one of us, we wanted to win, and we wanted to win so much that it just had to take somebody just to say something, that's all. And we all fell in behind one another, and it was wet nights, and very wet nights. We trained there in the muck and everything, and everyone just gave it all and proved it there today, and that's all you can say.
John, were you worried when the Harps scored a goal and seemed to open very well in a blaze of glory before you had really settled down?
Oh, naturally, Ginny. Harps are a great side. Like, we played them underage, nearly all those players that were playing there, and we knew what they were capable of. They're a brilliant side, and they'll be back again. I was very worried when they went 4 points up, and I knew the lads had it in them, and just still plugging away, we'd come back into the game.
When did you feel, John, that you had your second final won? Before the final whistle?
Oh, when the whistle was blew, that was it.
John Cuddy, congratulations and best wishes in the club championship, John.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
Well, I have with me now the captain of the Castletown team, Eamon Kirwan, and 3 years ago, I think, or 4 years ago here, he captained the side to an excellent win in the intermediate championship, and since that has been a very effective member of the senior team, and today, I suppose, reached the pinnacle of his career when he captained Castletown to the O'Keefe Cup, their second title, and his second medal, of course. Eamon, congratulations.
Thanks, Pat. It was a hard game out there. I think the other lads have said the exact same. We knew coming into the game that we were going to have to fight for 60 minutes of the game. Harps got the ideal start from their point of view and an awful start from us. But we just stayed battling away, and we knew if we stayed going and going for 60 minutes that we had a chance. And the goal just after half-time was a great start to the second half for us. And well, I won't say we never looked back, but in the last 10 minutes we finished a bit stronger. And the scoreline, I think, does the Harps a bit of an injustice, really. I mean, it was a much better game than I don't know, they lost by 6 or 7 points or something like that. I don't think they deserve to lose by that margin now.
Well, one feels that the Harps really thrown in the towel in the last 10 minutes. I suppose Castletown got a couple of good points, but I would have thought that 10 minutes before half-time was really the crucial stage, because Harps dominated the early stages and the goal might have killed a lot of teams, but possibly your experience of preparing in your third county final and I suppose your fifth final in 6 years at some level helped you to come back into the game.
I don't know about that. I've no doubt that experience helps, but how you define experience, I haven't got a clue. We didn't panic out there. Harps got a great start, and yet we went in a point up. As you said, 10 minutes before half time we picked off 2 or 3 nice points and got a free or two. And we were actually from the Harps had, I think, you'd have to say shaded the first half, but yet went in a point down at half time. That was a boost to us, but I think the goal immediately after half time was a great start for us. Say the Harps threw in the towel, I don't think they did. I think we got a few lucky breaks and suddenly we were 6 or 7 points up, and they really had put in a ferocious effort for 55 minutes of the game, and maybe they felt the game had slipped from them, but if I was a Harps person I'd be very proud of the way they played.
Midfield was going to be a major factor at all times, Eamon, and yourself and David were out there against Tony Dunn and Tom Quinn, and much would have been expected of Tony Dunn. He was looking very fit and very sharp. He opened very well. What was it like out in the middle of the field?
It was the usual sort of game you expect in the middle of the field. Tony opened very well. Noel Kirby was hurling well until they changed them around. They changed their midfield a small bit during the game. David got on top, and David's a very forceful player in midfield. He gets through an awful lot of work even if you don't see it in the field. But the game seemed to, I won't say bypass midfield, but the game was just very fast up and down the field. The pitch was in good condition. But it's a typical midfield game. You try and get the ball and just moving into the forwards as fast as you can. And if the ball goes past you, you've got to try and get back in your own half-back line and help out. I mean, the typical sort of midfield game. I'd say it broke about even.
Was there a wind factor out there, Eamon? It appeared to be from the sideline as if the wind favoured you in the second half or in the first half, and in the second half, whereas it died down in the early stage, but it seemed to get strong as the game wore on.
I don't think the wind, it looked as though there was a wind blowing down into the Aberdeen end goal, but it was really non-existent. I mean, there's more, it looks as though it's down the field, but as an actual fact it wasn't affecting the ball. If anything, it had blown it across the field, both halves. There was no question of when the toss was making you play with or against the wind, because it just seemed to be across the field, and it didn't actually affect the ball.
Their goal was a killer blow, I suppose, for you in the early stages, but you recovered very well and your back seemed to tighten up. They seemed to be a bit loose in the early stages. Had you any real game plan after the goal, or did you change anything?
Sorry, no, we didn't actually change anything. We had a couple of backs today playing in their first final, and they were no more nervous than anybody else. Maybe the ball just breaks and the ball's in the back of the net, but we didn't come out saying that we'll wake up in the second half. We came out to play from the start. Harps got a good start, but I mean, we just said to ourselves, if we start well, great. If we don't start well, we just have to knuckle down and work all the harder. I mean, the most important thing after the goal from our point of view was that the Harps suddenly didn't go 6 or 7 or 8 points clear, and they got to 4, but then for the rest of the first half we sort of tagged them on at 3 and 2, 4, and finally just before half time we were in a point up.
They seem to fade out in the last quarter of an hour. You don't really think so, Eamon, but Castletown had got completely on top. The 2 goals must have been killer blows for them. How did the second goal come about?
Second goal, where did we do them? Just down, there was a run made up the far side of the field, and the ball broke to Michael Butler, and he went to hit the ball over the bar. Didn't actually reach, and I think it was Portlaoise was up one-handed and flicked the ball brilliantly to the back of the net. They had just got a goal before that, which lifted them, and I suppose if you're looking for a killer blow, it's to answer a goal with a goal, and that's just, I mean, it was a great lift for us midway through the second half, and it put us 3 or 4 points clear, and from there on we never looked back.
Their penalty miss must have been a huge factor. They were trailing by 3 points at that stage after you had scored the third goal, and then they missed the penalty. Did that really did that break their hearts finally?
Well, if it had gone in the back of the net, it would have been very interesting last 10 minutes of the game. On the penalties, we just prepared that we knew who we were putting in goals if they got a penalty, and John Lyons is magnificent all year for us. He brought off the save, the ball was taken to safety, and I think it probably at that stage of the game gave us as much of a lift as it maybe killed them. But again, I don't think it's fair to say that the Harps died out of the game really, because I thought they stayed fighting.
Eamon, you had beaten Portlaoise in the semi-final and then you watched the final. Would you have preferred to have played Cameras in the final?
Difficult question. Cameras came into the game as county and Leinster champions. I think if you're going to dethrone somebody, you'd like to dethrone the champions at all times. That said, Harps were in their first final, and what we've been saying to ourselves for the last 3 weeks in training is, when we won the semi-final 2 years ago, beating Cameras, who were the county champions, gave us a huge boost for the final, and we came out here and we beat Portlaoise. We were preparing under the same guys that any nerves the Harps have after beating Cameras. They'd be just flying fit out here today, ready and raring to go. So we were very worried again.
And finally, next up is the Leinster Championship. You know what, last year I suppose really and truly there wasn't that much in the county final, and we all know what Cameras done when they got out of Moore Park. Castletown capable of going the same road?
Well, Cameras have shown us that it can be done. It's our second time to get into the Leinster Club Championship. We'll probably have a bit of time to prepare, and we will prepare, but I'm not going to make any promises. I think the first goal for us would be just to settle down after this week and get back to the hurling field, and we'll take the first round when it comes. And we'll certainly be trying. No promises, but we'll certainly be trying.
Eamon, congratulations, and thanks for holding on for so long.
Thanks, Pat.
There's a couple of girls there who wants to talk to you now as well.
Thank you.